Hey there, my name's Ben Everingham and I'm the director here at Pumped on Property, and in today's video I'm going to talk about and just be brutally honest with you, nothing works without taking action and without hard work. Just think about that for a moment. Think about the people around you that are doing well. Think about the people that have done well in the past and will do well in the future. These are the action takers. These are the people that work hard. These are the people that go above and beyond to learn the skills and that know, like anything in life, that you apply consistent, focused time to over the long term, they're going to get results. So let's just take a moment to really think about that. And let's just wipe the slate clean and pretend, or stop pretending, that you're going to get rich quick, that it's all going to happen in a smooth linear process, that there's not going to be hardship all the way through, that you're not going to feel anxious or overloaded with information or like you don't have enough time, and all of the other excuses that I tell myself, that you're telling yourself every single day, stopping you from getting what you actually want. Because nothing in this life that is worth getting, especially financially, is done without some sort of anxiety, some sort of focus, some sort of strategy, and hard work. It takes hard work to achieve what you want to achieve. So in today's video, I'm really going to talk about looking around you. I'm going to talk about and break down work in a way. I'm going to talk about the compound effect and how it's not easy now. Now is the worst and hardest it's ever going to be for you, but it will get easier over time. I'm going to talk about who you're spending your time with and how you're spending your time, and why you're not already financially free now, and the 3 reasons I believe you're not, if you're not. We're going to talk about focused education and the solution to hard work, because at the end of the day, when I say hard work, what I really mean is quality strategy, quality focus. You know, a lot of people confuse hard work with time. Hard work is not time. Hard work is taking focused strategic action in the direction that you desire to go in. So I'm really going to be talking about property investment today, which is the asset class that I personally like. Having bought over $150 million worth of property for myself and my clients in the last 3 years, that is the place that I'm coming from. So the first thing I wanted to talk about in terms of this concept that nothing works without hard work is to just stop and look around you for a moment and start to look around society, start to look around the people that you're spending your time with, start to look around the people in your life that are doing well financially. And remember that doing well financially isn't going to make you any happier either. Doing well financially is going to give you choices, and those choices might enable you to have a better quality of life. But if you're not enjoying who you are now, you're not going to enjoy yourself anymore with money. And if you're waiting to get to some destination in the hope that everything will change at that time, then I've got a massive wake-up call for you right now. I wish I could shake that camera, because you're not going to be any happier. It's not going to change anything for you. If you're healthy and happy now and have good relationships in your life and do work that you enjoy and you invest more than you earn, things are going to be cool when you're worth more. But if you're unhappy and miserable now doing things that you don't like to do for people you don't like to do them for, and you're not already feeling like whole as a person, then money is not going to change anything. It's probably just going to give you more anxiety when you get there. So that was one of the biggest things that I learned. But have a look around you at the people that are doing well and start asking those people and asking yourself what they're doing differently. And again, when I'm talking about well, in today's video, I'm really talking about financial health. There's so many other aspects to life that are equally or more important to me personally, but financial health gives me choices to spend more time with my family, more time with people that I care about, traveling, starting businesses that are meaningful, and helping other people, as well as looking after myself physically, mentally, emotionally, which I think is also super important. So the second thing, after you've had a bit of a look around, and stop judging, start asking the question, which I've always asked. I've probably talked to at least 1,000 people in the last 10 years. And the 3 questions I've always asked is, you know, where are you right now? How did you get there? And what were the exact steps to achieve what you achieved financially and business-wise? And what would you do if you're in my position right now, looking back? What are the biggest lessons you've asked? And instead of judging people, you start asking them those questions, you will start realizing that there's a pattern to creating anything that you want in your life. It's like working on a relationship. If you pick up the phone more regularly, you show up in a positive way, you organize fun stuff to do with the people you care about, you get return. They start thinking of you more, they want to hang out with you more. You know, wealth and creating financial independence through property or any other asset class is exactly the same thing. When you start showing up in a focused way with a clear strategy, it's amazing how things start turning. So in relation to hard work, I hate the concept of hard work. Like, hard work sounds like you're pushing a rock up a hill as opposed to being in flow where everything that you want is coming to you. And I know it's really, really easy to say that with the way that I think these days. I haven't always thought these days. I just thought it was about smashing through every single wall in front of me. If someone said no, going and getting a yes somewhere else. I burnt some bridges in my past with previous people that employed me and things like that that I'm not proud of now. And I thought it was all about hard work, but now I realise that hard work is something completely different to people that know how to work the system to support them, and the people that understand timing. So, like a plane takes almost all of its energy to get off the ground, it is the same with starting anything. And if you're just getting started as an investor now, or you're halfway through the journey, that is where all of the activity is. Now, there's 3 phases in investing in property. There's the accumulation phase, which is, there's no way of beating around the bush. It's really hard work. Let's just say that. Like, it means saving, creating a strategy, educating yourself, identifying markets, pounding the pavement, spending nights on realestate.com and watching videos and listening to podcasts. It means reading and doing things that other people aren't doing. It means understanding all of those things. And so the accumulation phase is where you buy the properties that are going to make you financially free. And I've done a couple of other videos on this. One of them was a video called 2 Properties to Financial Freedom, which is a very simple way for the average person to create what they want. Another one was 4 Properties to Financial Freedom, which is for those of you looking to take it a step further. But that's the first phase, the accumulation, and that is the hard work phase. Saving is a punish. Investing and finding the right investment takes time, it takes knowledge, it takes skills. The second phase, which is a lot easier, is the consolidation phase, which is where you pretty much sit and let the market do its thing and pay off debt or add value to your properties to speed it up. And then the third phase, which is the lifestyle phase, but lifestyle is really overrated. What is underrated is choices, and having the choices to do the things that are meaningful for you, whatever that might be. If making money is your full priority, cool. If spending no time making money is your full priority, cool. If you just want to focus on health for a year, or travel for a year, or spend a year dropping your kids and picking them up from school and spending every afternoon with them and reading to them and like nurturing them is your thing, then cool. These are the choices that we get when we're financially free, and that's why financial freedom is something that every single person should be working towards. I don't care if you're earning 20 grand a year like I was when I first started this journey, or you're earning $2 million a year like some of our clients do. Everyone's got their journey, and just because you're making more money doesn't mean you're doing the right thing with it either. So it's going to be hard at the start, but it'll get infinitely better over time. And that's sort of the next thing I wanted to talk about. Is it's not an easy journey to create financial freedom. There's a reason why 80% of Australians end up on the pension, and because 80% of us at least are getting the wrong information and the wrong education and listening to the people around us that are also going to end up on the pension. You know, I heard something crazy the other day, which is like 5% of Australians actually retire with the income that they want to have in retirement. Like, that just blows my mind. 1 out of every 20 people are getting this stuff right. So it's so simple to get it right, but it's so hard if you listen to all the shit that's out there and all of the opinions and all of the different things that make it hard so they can sell you a product. Another important lesson that people that have achieved financial freedom know is that it's going to take at least twice as long as you think it is. If you're thinking of doing this in 12 months or 5 years, quadruple it. Like, it's going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight. If you're not already financially free, there's a reason. There's holes in your financial acumen, strategy, your focus, the time you're investing into this versus other aspects of your life. And if you're not already there, there's a reason for that, which I'll talk about further on in this video. But the compound effect, and those people that have achieved it understand it, that they realize that you start from a small base and it's very, 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 very slow growth. And then as you get to the later years, longer term, 10, 15, 20 years, all of a sudden the compound effect starts to take place. And the way that you can think about this is, imagine you've got $400,000 to start off with today and it grows by 5% next year. You've now made 20,000 bucks, which is 20 grand you haven't had to go to work to earn. But let's think that you've got now $10 million worth of assets owned outright in, like, let's just call it 10 million bucks just for round numbers sake, and the value of those assets grows by 4%. 4% of $10 million is now $400,000 a year in growth that you're realizing without even having to get out of bed. And that's on an average year, you know. Some years are going to be 10%, some years are going to be nothing, some years are going to be minus 20%. But what I'm trying to get to with this is that the compound effect of time and leverage can be really, really powerful. And for those of you who don't understand it, you're already paying it by not being in the marketplace and not getting it. So figure out what compound growth is over time, learn to understand it, do some modeling and have some fun with it, and realize where you'll be. There's the simplest little online calculators that you can use to work this stuff out. Two things that are really, really important to me and that I think about pretty regularly. And now I've got multiple businesses, properties. I've got 3 children under the age of 5.5. I've got a wife. I've got a huge network of mates that I really enjoy spending time with. I train at least 3 to 6 days every single week and surf and only work 4 days a week. You know what I mean? Everyone's busy, so busyness is like the worst concept you can have in your mind. And busy isn't hard work. Busy is just an excuse. Like, I've got friends that are 30 years of age that work one job, that work 38 hours a week, that say they're busy, that don't train, that don't have families, that don't have investments, that don't do anything outside of that job, and they're still caught in this bullshit of busy. It doesn't mean anything. It's in your mind, it's not real. And so when I'm thinking about that stuff, what I think about is, who are you spending your time with? How are you spending your time? What are you getting out of that time that you're spending with those people or with yourself? You know, if one area in your life looks really, really good, and this exercise, a friend of mine, he owns the Entourage, which is a really, really big coaching business in Sydney, and he did this exercise with me 8 years ago now, where I looked at the key priorities in my life, and at the time I had about 10. Now it's very, very simple. My values are simple: family, friends, health and well-being, finances. That's it. And family and friends is also lifestyle and fun. Like, I group it all as one thing. So now that I've only got 3 categories, it's very easy for me to measure at any point in time where I'm at, emotionally, mentally, strategically, and just like giving myself a yardstick. And what we did is we sat down and we did this little thing, and at the time I said it was 10 categories, but now it's just 3 to make life simple rather than more complicated, because life's complicated enough without us making it harder for ourselves. And what I did is I ranked each of those categories from 0 to 10, 0 being really unhappy or not achieving what I want in that part of my life, 10 being absolutely smashing it out of the ballpark. And at that time in my life, doing that simple little exercise, which you can easily do, I realized that some parts of my life, like my social life, was amazing, but I was working an undergraduate program with IBM and not enjoying my work in any way. My investing side of my life was cranking. I bought 2 properties that first year I finished university in Sydney, and was really, really focused on that because it was like it had lit a flame inside me, and I was just so stoked to see how property could help me achieve financial freedom. You know, my relationship with my partner at the time wasn't good, who's now my wife. Like, I was in Sydney working the corporate thing and doing the corporate thing and not spending enough time with her. My health was sacrificed. I went down to Sydney in the best shape of my life and came back like 7 or 8 kilos heavier. I wasn't traveling and doing the things that added value, and gone from living out of home for, 5 years to moving back in to save some money for those properties. So like there was a lot of good things and bad things, and I think about that sometimes these days in terms of how am I spending my time, what are my actual priorities, and who am I spending my time with, and how are those people helping me become fitter, how are those people helping me to have better relationships with my kids and my family, how are those people helping me succeed in my businesses or as an investor. You know, how am I helping myself do those things? Like how is binge watching Netflix, which I love to do, you know, helping me write the book that I want to write in the next couple of years, or start that business idea that I've got that I don't have time to do right now. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I'm not saying I'm perfect in these things. Like I'm like a 1 or a 0 type personality. Like it's everything or nothing generally, but as I've gotten a bit older and my wife's taught me, because she's a much more balanced person, I've started to realize that it's not about the 0 or the 1, everything or nothing. It's about consistency in all areas of your life. And there's a great book on this, The Compound Effect, which looks at each of the areas of your life and how daily habits over 15 or 20 years transform everything. So moving from that into something that's a hard question to think about personally, which is, why are you not already financially free? Why don't you have 100 grand a year coming in passive right now? And there's a whole heap of excuses that we tell ourselves and a whole heap of reasons, and I get that. And I get that, like there's stuff going on in all of our lives, and you know, we've talked about a few of those things, but if you're not already financially free, for me it comes down to 3 very simple things. One is time. You haven't given it enough time to be financially free, because financial freedom, if you're going to do it in a passive way, takes 15 to 25 years to achieve. That's the time it takes you to pay off properties outright, for shares to go through a couple of cycles and make you a lot of money, for businesses to really, really mature and make great, consistent cash flow without you doing the work. So, you know, time can be one of those things. And I used to think at 24 that I would be completely financially free by 30. I'm 32 now, and I'm in a much healthier financial position than I was in the past. But the reality is I'm still working on it. I'm still resetting my goals. I'm still figuring out the strategy that's working for me. And in the last 3 years, I've really refined that strategy to something that I love doing and that's really working. But it's constant tweaking, and you know, at 32, I'm not where I thought I'd be at 24, but I'm a long way there. And whatever age you're starting at, or wherever you are right now, you're on your journey. Financial freedom takes time, and you need to recognize that and take the pressure off yourself and just enjoy the journey to it, because the destination isn't going to change anything for you. If you wait 15 years to be happy and live the life you want, then it's going to be a miserable 15 years, and I can guarantee it'll taste like ash in your mouth when you achieve it, because you'll already be thinking about the next thing. And that's from a personal experience. The second reason why I don't think you're financially free right now is you don't have the right knowledge. And that's so simple. I didn't have the right knowledge. In 5 years' time, I'll be looking back at these videos and what I'm saying now and how I thought, and I'll be like, man, I was so green. I was so naive to thinking that like the strategy that I had for property at that time was, you know, the best strategy for me. And you know, every single day you're learning and growing and improving, and that takes time. But relentlessly spending your time on realestate.com, or listening to videos like this, or listening to podcasts, or going to 1,000 different events from 1,000 different spruikers is just such a waste of your time. What matters is focused knowledge, and you can't be a jack of all trades and financially free. You need to specialize in a strategy, whether it's business, in property, shares, your job, your career. You know, you can't save your way there, unfortunately. Commodities, gold, any of the 1,000 other ways that you can achieve what it is that you want to achieve financially. Knowledge is the absolute key, and knowledge opens the door to where you really want to be. So it's really important to acknowledge that. If you're not already financially free, there's a knowledge gap. And that leads me into the third reason outside of time and knowledge, and that is strategy. And that's the most important key that I didn't have for a long time. I knew I wanted to be there, and I knew it was going to take some time. I I was working on the knowledge in the property space, but I just didn't have that strategy or that missing piece. And that's why that 2 properties to financial freedom video or 4 properties to financial freedom video could be a really nice starting point for you to just put some of the pieces together. Now there's all of this shit out there that is like talking about how much you need to own, how many properties you need to buy, how aggressively you have to do it, the time frame that you have to do it in, and it is just crap based on a time when things were completely different with banks and the market and incomes and jobs and inflation, and those strategies are dead, and those people should just stop pushing them because they're not investing anymore, these people. They made all their money back in the day and they're still spruiking the same old story that is 15 years old and doesn't work anymore in this current market. You need to align yourself with thinking that is working right now, not thinking that worked 20 years ago in a completely different market where every property everyone bought just went up every 7 to 10 years. It's not going to happen anymore that way, and so you need to change your strategy. And your strategy doesn't have to be aggressive, it has to fit with your risk profile. It can be long term, not short term. It's going to take you longer to do this, but once you've got that strategy locked in place, once you know where you are, where you want to be in 12 months, where you want to be longer term, what's holding you back from achieving those goals, and your strategy for your next property, 99% of the stuff in the marketplace and 99% of the stuff that you're focusing your time on just won't matter anymore, because you'll be looking at one market, one area of that market, one suburb, one pocket of the suburb, and one type of property. And when you're just doing that, man, life becomes easier, and you see value, you buy below value, you buy properties with potential to add value, you get great cash flow, you get good long-term capital growth, and things start to align in a way that's meaningful for you. I'm going to brush over focused education because I think I've gone on enough, a bit of a rant with that, with part 2 of why you're not already financially free, which is your knowledge. So the solution to all of this and not being financially free is simple, and there's 5 things I think which are really important when I was recording this video today. First is strategy, which we've just talked about. The second is knowledge and education. The third is time, so I've already touched on 3 of them. The other 2, number 4 and 5, the first one is focus. Now, people that are financially free or very, very wealthy understand focus. People that are athletes at the national or Olympic level understand focus. Mums understand focus because they know that if they take their focus off their children and their household, then the household stops running and the kids become really, really, really difficult to deal with. So for whatever reason, amateurs believe that focus means understanding everything. They get scared of the idea of just becoming very good at one thing because it will shut down other doors. But what I've realized from focusing on one thing, which is property now for the last 9 years, obsessively, every single day, learning and applying and learning and applying and testing and looking at results and tweaking results, is that when you focus on one thing, people will think you're good at lots of things, and people will listen to you like I'm talking about this video today, which hardly has anything to do with property. But that focus and that getting a result in one area of your life, like your relationship or your health or your finances or your business or your job, gives you confidence to move on to other areas of your life with confidence. And then it's much, much, much easier to maintain something than it is to completely transform it. So I know as an investor that I get investor fatigue. I know that buying a property is so emotionally and mentally draining for me because I put everything into getting the best result. Because at the end of the day, I wasn't born with any money. I've got to do this myself. And I get so much anxiety from the actual purchase that it freaks me the hell out, and I get worn out from it. And so what I do is 99% of the time I can't borrow money from the banks anyway, because it's hard to borrow money from the banks consistently, and it's risky to do it as well. I don't like risk. But what I do is looking at my pattern, I go really, really hard for about 12 months and buy a couple of properties. Then I don't sort of do anything for another 18 months to 2 or 3 years after that. or because the banks told me I couldn't, and then I go really, really focused and hard for another short burst. And doing it that way enables me to enjoy the short burst and then recover from it after. And a lot of investors are like, I've got to consistently be doing everything every day. No, like you've got to be learning every day. You've got to be following the markets. You've got to be getting your information from the right sources like CoreLogic, Residex, HTW, Michael Matusik, BAS Strapnel, On Property, Pumped On Property. These types of videos and stuff are cool, but it's not a forever thing. Like, it's not sustainable to just keep operating at that really, really analytically high level and emotionally draining level all the time. And I've recognized that. So focus is absolutely key. Focus strategy, focus bursts of energy, realizing that it's just one area of your life. And if you get this area of your life right, it'll open up the doors to every single other area. But you've got to get this area right, or you're going to end up doing a job you hate, earning money in the future that you can't stand. Hopefully not on the pension like 80% of people will be, apparently. You know, working with people every day that you just can't vibe with. It's deadly not focusing, especially when you're, you know, sub 45 years of age, because I've talked to 6,000 investors now and about another 1,000 business people, and not focusing when you're young kills your long-term position. You end up just being that dude that is trying to get it together, and it's all, you know, it's all too late if you're 65 to have the time in the market without taking on huge amounts of risk to do what you need to do to achieve this stuff. So the last thing I wanted to talk about in relation to the solution, which is the fifth thing, is just results. And results speak so much louder than words. When someone tells me about their ideas or their goals or their current situation or their challenges, or like the bullshit coming out of their mouth as to why they can't do something, it just speaks, like, it just show me what you've done, you know what I mean? Like, nothing works without hard work. And there's areas of your life right now that you'll be killing it, and there's areas of your life where, it, you know, like me, every single time I do that analysis, I'm like, man, I've stopped investing for a while because I'm really enjoying spending time with my kids on a Friday to a Sunday. I need to focus on that a little bit more, because right now that's a 1 and it needs to be a consistent 8 for me to do what I want to do. But results speak louder than words. If you are already financially independent, cool. If you're not, there's reasons why. Time, knowledge, strategy. There's solutions to this stuff, which is, you know, strategy, time, education, focus, and results. But results speak louder than your words. If you want to be inspiring to other people, be inspiring to yourself. If you want good health for the people you care about, be healthy. If you want good relationships and your kids to have respect for themselves in the future, then have a good relationship and have respect for yourself now. If you want financial freedom in the future, do something about it today. Start a budget, start saving money, start paying yourself first, go get a second job, start a side business, start investing in shares or property or whatever the hell is your thing, but just start, like, do something. Spend that time figuring it out for you and filling in the gaps for you. And it's going to be really, really hard at the start because you don't have time on your side already, years and years and years worth of this compound growth stuff. You've probably got some knowledge gaps, and you definitely have holes in your strategy. That's the other biggest thing. If you don't have financial freedom now, it's because your strategy isn't allowing you to do it. So stop thinking about how you can buy 130 properties in 3.5 years. Focus obsessively on the next property and the long-term strategy, and I can guarantee within 15 years, your whole life will have shifted if you're smart. So, sorry for the rant. For those of you first time around, you know, this is how it's going to be if you're following me. I've been through lots of different things, positive and negative, as a business person, as an investor, as a human, like as a father, as a friend, as someone who's just trying to get my stuff together personally. So, nothing works without hard work, but hard work doesn't mean being busy or putting in more time or more hours. Hard work means being focused, having time on your side and realizing it's going to take a while, having the right knowledge, having the right strategy, and everything can come to you if you've got those things in place. And it can take some time to put those things in place, so don't beat yourself up. But the 4 property strategy videos, the 2 property strategy videos are a good start. You know, booking a one-on-one strategy session with us over here at www.pumpedonproperty.com can be another place to start. If you've got good equity in your home, if you've got good savings in the bank, if you think you can borrow money and your intention is to set up financial freedom and you like the idea of property, then like I said, we're property people. I'm a very active investor myself. As a business, we help over 150 people a year. We were last year, sorry, we've capped the business back now a little bit to under 100 people a year, just because I've just had a third bub and want to spend some time with him. But, you know, come over and book a strategy session if you're in a good financial position to have a chat. Don't come over if you're just wasting time or looking to suck information. I've put literally 300 videos on YouTube between this channel and the On Property channel. Got a podcast with 300 episodes. Like, do you first, and then come and have a talk to us when you're actually ready to have a meaningful conversation about starting stuff. Don't start with us. You know, come to us when you know you a little bit more and you see value in what we do and you think we're the right partner that could help you buy that property, or, you know, create those longer term ideas to get you to where you want to be. So, hope I haven't ranted too much on today's video. Good luck with your journey if you're doing it on your own. When I started mine, there wasn't sort of videos like this, and that's part of the reason why I chuck them out there. But really appreciate your attention and time, and have a great day and good luck on your journey.